Well, folks, week 5 of the NFL season has already come and gone. We are almost a third of the way through the regular season already here in the second week of October. It's the Terranadome. My name is Scott. Josh Morris is not on the show this week. This is one of the solo episodes. We will be doing the great Rapidfire Rundown. We will cover all 14 games in week 4 in under an hour. And we will start with a massive win for my New England Patriots up in Buffalo. It's all that and more on the way, plus a little Red Sox post-mortem on post-mortem. Let's try that again. A little Red Sox post-mortem on the Terranadome. It's all new, and it starts right now. The first interception led to a field goal, and the second one led to a touchdown. You lost by 3. That's why you don't turn the ball over. We see it every week from multiple teams. It happens all the time, Patriots. Yeah, Pats +8, Pats money line. Book it, baby.
Stop it. No.
Buffalo's going down.
No.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Respect the flying Elvis. Buffalo's going down. Denver money line. I like Denver money line too. I like Denver money line too. I think this is the week for Philly. Denver is better than that 2-2 record for sure. It is. That's gonna be a low-scoring game over there in Philly. I think I would hammer the under on that game too.
Throughout my years, so I growl at the living foul. Black to the bone, my home is your home.
Well, welcome to Terranadome. Terranadome, and it starts right now. And folks, my youngest cat is not happy because he's stuck in timeout right now because he is a stupid idiot. My name is Scott. It's the Terranadome. We're here. Post week 5 in the NFL season, folks. It is flying by already, and I got to tell you, it was a pretty good week of football all in all. But man, the highlight, of course, for us Patriots fans was the Patriots going into Buffalo as 8.5 to 11.5 point underdogs, depending on where you get your books from. They went in and they beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. That is where we are starting this week, folks. It's the arrival game for Drake May. The lights were brighter than they've ever been, and not only was he not rattled, he delivered. A very chippy, uneven slot fest of a game on both sides in the first half. 3-3 until the end of the half when the Pats couldn't punch it in. They had to settle for a chip shot 19-yard field goal to make it 16-3, 6-3 at the half. And Buffalo would open the second half of this one with a 9-play, 71-yard drive. Josh Allen to Curtis Samuel from 6 yards out, and Buffalo leads at 10-6 with 9:21 left in the third. Pats start the next drive in their own 26-yard line, and it's all Drake May on this one, with the Bills constantly bringing pressure and rolling May out to the right. He continued to put the ball on the money. On this drive, he'd go 3 for 3 for 64 yards, including an absolute strike to Stephon Diggs for 32 yards down the right sideline. Next play after that, it's a 4-yard touchdown for Ramondre Stevenson. Butterfingers, Pats back out in front, 13-10. Next Buffalo drive, Allen marches the Bills down the field, but is ultimately picked off in a ridiculous diving catch by Marcus Jones on the Buffalo 10-yard line. At this point, as a true fan watching this game late on a Sunday night, having invested the time and knowing that I'm going to lose sleep, that was the point where I felt like they were really going to pull this one off, and boy, was I right. Drake May would instantly proceed to go 8 out of 9 for 63 yards on the next drive, sandwiched in between 2 running plays. Clearly, the Patriots were able to identify that Buffalo has trouble against the pass, especially when their premier pass rusher, Ed Oliver, is inactive for the game. A 7-yard touchdown for Ramondre Stevenson puts the Pats out in front 20-10, but still 12-10 left to go in regulation. And Allen responds by doing some of his magic scrambling and passing work, but also gets gifted 2 straight 15-yard penalties to aid the drive. The Patriots had 8 penalties in this game, 6 of them in the second half. Allen to Keon Coleman from 2 yards out pulls Buffalo to 20-17 with 7:37 to go. The Bills would force a 3-and-out on the next drive, helped by a stupid false start penalty by Jerrod Mayo, holdover for Darian Lowe. And May is then sacked on 3rd down. Luckily, Bryce Behringer has a bazooka in his cleats, and he booted it 73 yards for a touchback. Bills get it back on their own 20 with 5:52 to go. The Bills would get 3 first downs. First one thanks to a 19-yard defensive pass interference. The second and third ones by completions over the middle. First down on the New England 27, and Allen misses 3 straight passes, folks, and Buffalo has to settle for a 45-yard field goal. Game's tied 20-20 with only 2:21 to go. Starting at their own 29, Drake May, money, once again picking up first downs on connections of 12 yards to Diggs and 19 yards to Kayshon Boutte. Buffalo starts burning timeouts with 118 left. They know they're in trouble. Stevenson up the middle for 5. That's timeout number 2. Ball on the Buffalo 34. The next 2 plays yield 0 yards for the Pats offense. The timeouts are burned. 4th and 5 with 20 seconds to go. And Andy Borregales, you are forgiven for everything in week 2, my friend. You come out and he drills a 52-yard field goal. The Pats have done it. 23-20. The Bills get it back with no timeouts in their own 18, and after one play, it's over. For the first time in 4 years, the New England Patriots go into Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills 23-20. The final score, baby. The Pats are back, and Drake May is here, folks. Long gone are the conversations about Drake May not being good enough in week 1. I told you to pump the brakes. Week 1 is fluky. He showed out in this game on national television on Sunday night. Drake May, 22 out of 30 for 273 yards. He was sacked 4 times in this game. It did not faze him. Ramondre Stevenson had just 7 carries for just 14 yards, but he had 2 short touchdowns. He lost yet another fumble on his first catch of the game on the Pats' first drive of the game. And Stephon Diggs, they don't win this game without him. He got himself open all night and had a bunch of yards after the catch. He was a man on a mission in this game. Diggs, 10 catches for 146 yards. Never mind the leadership skills that he showed before this game. Plenty of mic'd up stuff. Got the game ball after the game. Great stuff for Stephon Diggs. Hunter Henry, 2 catches for 46, and Kayshon Boutte, 3 catches for 43 yards. Josh Allen, 22 out of 31 for 253 yards. 2 touchdowns, an interception, and 1 lost fumble. He ran for 53 yards. James Cook, I started telling you this a few weeks ago. The Patriots' run defense is extremely strong, folks. Good luck running the ball against this front. James Cook, who has been mowing teams down from the backfield, had 15 carries for 49 yards and 1 catch for 0 yards in this game. Dalton Kincaid, 6 catches for 108 for Buffalo. Khalil Shakir, 6 catches for 45. And Keon Coleman, 4 catches for 23 yards. And the touchdown we mentioned, but also lost a fumble. The Allen interception and the Coleman fumble led to a combined 10 points for the Patriots in this big win. Huge win for the Patriots. They're in a letdown spot next as they go to New Orleans to take on the Saints. We will talk about them shortly. That is now a 1 o'clock game, folks. That was flexed out of the 425 slot, as it should have been because New Orleans isn't good. That game is at 1 o'clock. Buffalo will travel to Atlanta to take on the 2-2 Falcons coming off their bye. Atlanta, that game, a Monday night kick at 7:15, another stupid Monday night doubleheader in the NFL in week 6. So we already talked about Sunday night. Now we get to go back and talk about all the other games, right? So we've got 13 more on the docket as we had 4 teams on their bye week in week number 5. We go back to Thursday night. It was the San Francisco 49ers traveling to LA and all their fans also traveling to LA to take on the Rams. Both teams came into this game at 3-1. San Francisco missing most of their key pieces, including starting quarterback Brock Purdy and also their top 2 wide receivers. Actually, their top 3 wide receivers, if you count Brandon Ayuk. And San Francisco were 8.5-point dogs in this game. Didn't matter. San Francisco shows up. Mac Jones showing up before the game in a Cruella DeVille suit and Cruella DeVille shoes, by the way. Rams were actually favored by 9 at kickoff. It was very apparent early that they were not going to cover that spread by a long shot. The 49ers led this game 14-0 deep into the second quarter until the Rams finally got going. Down 14 at their own 15-yard line with 6:11 to play in the first half. The Rams decided to go full-on pass mode, and it worked. Stafford goes 6 of 8 for 75 yards and a 14-yard touchdown pass to Kyron Williams. 14-7 San Francisco with 2:09 to play in the half. 49ers respond on a sloppy drive, but managed to move it 48 yards and a 37-yard field goal to end the half. Had them back up 17-7 at the half. Rams begin the second half with a 53-yard field goal. The 49ers respond by eating 6 minutes of clock and kicking a chip shot 20-yard field goal. Next Rams drive, 7 plays, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Stafford, 4 of 6 for 62 yards, including a 1-yard touchdown strike to Puka Nacua. 20-14 49ers with 3:45 left in the third. Next 49ers drive results in a punt. Rams get it back. They go on a 10-play, 88-yard drive. Stafford was money again on this one, 6 of 9 for 72 yards and an 8-yard touchdown reception, 8-yard touchdown pass to Kyren Williams. Has the game tied 20-20 with 10:43 left to go. Next two drives, the teams trade punts. The following 49ers possession after that kills 5:07 of clock, and little tiny Eddie Pinheiro makes a 59-yard field goal, 23-20. Might want to start talking about the kicking balls in the league this year because something's going on with them things. They're juiced. Next Rams drive, they march down the field again, but Kyren Williams coughs it up akin to the Ramondre Stevenson, just short of the goal line. It's recovered by San Francisco. That might have been a dagger for the Rams. They forced the 49ers to a 3-and-out, though, but they have to burn all 3 of their timeouts at that point. Only 42 seconds left to play with the Rams starting at midfield. First 2 plays are incomplete passes. Third down is a 7-yard dump off to Kyren Williams. 4th and 3, clock running, and Stafford is able to complete it to Williams again over the middle for 13. Rams line up, and Stafford spikes it with 12 seconds left. Veteran, future Hall of Fame quarterback doing what he does. Next play, he takes a shot to Adams near the end zone, incomplete, 6 seconds left. A 48-yard Joshua Carty field goal is good. 23-23. Game heads to overtime. And in overtime, Carty screws up. He kicks the ball short of the landing zone, so San Francisco gets it at their own 40. And then Mac Jones puts on a Mac Jones dump-off masterclass, folks. He goes 5 straight completions of 12, 15, 6, and 7 yards, then takes a sack to lose 9. 3rd and 12, incomplete. A 41-yard attempt by Pinheiro is good. 26-23 with just under 6 minutes left in overtime. 49ers lead. Rams have to score. The game is over on the next possession. From their own 33, Stafford is able to move it downfield again. Goes 4 of 5 for 56 yards on the drive. But his 3rd and 6 pass to Williams comes up a yard short. Both teams take timeouts. 4th and 1 with 3:41 to go. Williams runs up the middle, and it's stuffed. 49ers in a game that nobody thought they would win this one, 26-23. Josh Morris is happy. Mac Jones goes 33 out of 49 for 342 yards. He is 3-0 on the season in place of Brock Purdy. 2 touchdown passes. He was only sacked once. Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Couldn't find anything on the ground. Just 22 carries for a paltry 57 yards, but hauled in 8 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. And Kendrick Bourne, someone that the Patriots didn't think was good enough for their roster, 10 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown. Jake Tongues in place of George Kittle, 7 catches on 11 targets for 41 yards and a touchdown. On the flippity flop, Matthew Stafford with a great game, 30 out of 47 for 389 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also lost a fumble. Kyren Williams, 14 carries for 65 yards, 8 catches for 66 and 2 touchdowns, but he also lost a fumble. Good news for the Rams is that neither of those fumbles led to points for San Francisco. Puka Nacua, 10 more catches for 85 yards and a touchdown on 12 targets, and Davante Adams 5 catches for 88 on 11 targets. 23 of 47 Matthew Stafford passes went to Puka Nacua or Davante Adams. That is now 108 of 183 attempts on the season. 59% of his attempts have gone to those 2 receivers. Puka Nacua leads the league, has 52 catches through 5 weeks. Pretty good stuff. San Francisco's next game should be a very interesting one. They will travel to Tampa Bay, 4:25 on Sunday. Big game. There are two teams that with good records. I will tell you about Tampa Bay much later in the show. And the Rams will travel to Baltimore. Baltimore, the dumpster fire that they are all of a sudden. That game is on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Now, let's go to London. London calling, if you will, because the 9:30 a.m. game, and by the way, there's another one next week. 9:30 a.m. game in London was between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. Both teams came into this game. I think I might have Cleveland's record. I have Cleveland's record wrong here. They came into they're 1-4. They came into this game. They came into this game 1-3. Anyway, Minnesota 21, Cleveland 17. First career start for Dylan Gabriel as Joe Flacco was benched in favor of the rookie 3rd-round pick, while Carson Wentz started his 3rd game in a row for the injured J.J. McCarthy. The Browns treated Gabriel with kid gloves, 19 out of 33 for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the game plan was clearly made to not expose the kid. He only had 5.6 yards per attempt. Carson Wentz left this game briefly late in the second quarter, but ultimately missed no snaps. He finishes 25 out of 34 for 236 yards and a touchdown pass to Jordan Addison late to win the game for the Vikings with 25 seconds left to go. Justin Jefferson, 7 catches for 123 yards. Backup, third string running back Cam Akers threw a 32-yard touchdown pass to backup tight end Josh Oliver, and that would not be the last running back touchdown pass of the day, folks. Quinshawn Judkins, not a good human being, pretty good running back, continues to impress despite very little around him, 23 carries for 110 yards. Both of Cleveland's tight ends had touchdown receptions, David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. Minnesota lost 2 fumbles. The first was on the opening drive of the game by Jordan Mason, and it set up Cleveland's first touchdown. Next up, the Vikings get a much-needed bye week after spending 2 weeks overseas. Cleveland will travel to Pittsburgh to take on the 3-1 Steelers coming off of their bye. Bad spot for the Brownies. That's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. So, folks, we're off to the races. We're now going to go to the 1 o'clock window on Sunday. We have got a bunch of games to talk about here, but we're going to start with a couple of blowouts because that's just how I'm going to do it. Not only am I the host, I'm the producer, I'm the director, I'm the editor, I'm all of it, baby. So you get all in one with me. Houston Texans at Baltimore Ravens. If you told me 5 weeks ago before the season started that Houston was going to blow doors off of Baltimore in this game, I would have said you're on crack. But it's exactly what they did. Houston 44, Baltimore 10. Obviously, no Lamar Jackson for Baltimore with a hamstring injury, but at this point, the Ravens defense is so terrible it wouldn't even matter if Lamar put up 35 points by himself like he did in their one win this season against Cleveland. Houston's offense is not world-beating, but this defense might lose to Bill Belichick's UNC Tar Heels right now. I had to throw on the dig. It's happening, man. Bill is so far in over his head. But that his team still might beat this Ravens defense right now. I should tell you that Baltimore at 1-4, only 4% of 1-4 teams have made the playoffs. And somehow the Baltimore Ravens are still favored to win the AFC North. That is batshit crazy. I've already used one of my 2 swears for the episode, and we're like 10 minutes in. Anyway, just 207 yards of offense and just 23 minutes and 27 seconds of time of possession for Baltimore. On the Houston side, C.J. Stroud, one of his best games as a pro, 23 out of 27 for 244 yards and 4 touchdowns. Houston ran the ball 33 times for 167 yards. Nick Chubb, 11 carries for 61 yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins, 4 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Noel had a touchdown catch, and Xavier Hutchinson had 2 for the Texans. On the other side, Cooper Rush did not keep his team in the game as the backup. He went 14 out of 20 for 179 yards and 3 interceptions. 2 of the interceptions led to 10 points for Houston. And obviously, Derrick Henry, with no real threat at cornerback, is being shut down now. And also, maybe there's a little bit of age showing, but I know you fantasy people don't want to hear that. 15 carries for 33 yards and a touchdown for Henry. And Zay Flowers, 5 catches for 72. Next up, Baltimore will host the LA Rams, who are 3-2, as we just talked about. While the Houston Texans are 2-3 going into their bye week. It is going to be tough for Baltimore not to go to 1-5. Okay, we move on. We've got the other big blowout of the week. This one was by the same amount of points. It was the same margin of victory. But the Indianapolis Colts, very surprising to say the least, what the Indianapolis Colts have done with Daniel Jones at the helm. The Colts blow doors on the Las Vegas Raiders, 40-6, the final score in this one. Indianapolis improves to 4-1 while the Raiders drop to 1-4. Is Geno Smith cooked? This loss looks worse and worse for the Pats every week with the Raiders the way they're playing, but week 1 is the flukiest and wonkiest week of the season. You need to understand that. There's also other factors in play, like the Raiders having a minority owner named Tom Brady who played in Josh McDaniels' offense, like I pointed out to you in week 1. But anyway, is Geno Smith cooked? In the one win against the Patriots, he had 362 yards passing with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. In the 4 losses since, Smith is averaging 203.5 yards per game passing, He has 5 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions in those 4 games. He's only being pressured 15.7% of the time, which means that teams are dropping back and letting him throw into coverage. That is the way to beat Geno Smith. And on this day against the Colts, he went 25 out of 36 for 228 scoreless yards, and he turned it over 2 more times with 2 more interceptions. The Raiders have a minus 63 point differential in their last 4 games. That's just a shade shy of us losing each game by 16 points on average. And both of Geno Smith's interceptions led to Colts touchdowns. The Raiders opened scoring with a 24-yard field goal late in the first. The Colts would then score 40 unanswered points in just 23 minutes and 6 seconds of game time between the early second and late third quarters. By the way, the Colts now have the second best scoring offense in the NFL. The Colts. They also have the third best scoring defense for what it's worth. Daniel Jones goes 20 out of 29 for the Colts in the win, 212 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, 17 carries, 66 yards and 3 touchdowns for him. On the ground, Tyler Warren, 4 catches for 44 yards and a score. Michael Pittman, 5 for 39 and a score. Josh Downs goes 6 catches for 54 yards. On the other side, you did have Ashton Jeanty, who still had a nice game for the Raiders. 14 carries for 67 yards and 5 catches for 42. That is 109 total yards on 19 touches for the rookie first-round pick out of Boise State. Next, Indianapolis will host the clown show Arizona Cardinals, which we will get to in great detail later. And the Raiders will host the Tennessee Titans at 4:05 on Sunday. And that is going to be more interesting than you realize it is. But we will get to that later as well. As far as the Titans are concerned, we move on. My stupid cat continues to bitch and moan in the other room. I'm not counting that as my second swear, but we move on. The New York Giants, fresh off their first win of the season with rookie Jackson Darty Party at quarterback, off of a pretty good Chargers team. They travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. The Saints 0-4 coming into this game. The first thing I have in my notes is that it was a matchup of poopy proportions, folks. The Giants, they were up 14-3 early in the second quarter, and then the Saints sort of came marching in. Saints get a 53-yard field goal with 7:41 to play in the half, then force the Giants to punt. Next, Saints possession. It's Spencer Rattler with probably the best throw of his career so far to Rashid Shaheed, who flies to the end zone for an 87-yard score. The Giants turned it over 5 times in this one. 2 interceptions by Darty Party, but they didn't result in Saints points. But all 3 of the fumbles lost did. So, first 2 fumbles by Darius Slayton and Jackson Dart led to field goals, and then the fifth turnover of the day for the Giants sealed it for the Saints. Running back Cam Scatabo dropped it deep in New Orleans territory as the Giants were knocking on the door to tie or take the lead as the game was 20-14. This was the first play of the fourth quarter. Scatabo would then fumble. It's picked up by Jordan Howden, returned all the way in the other direction. It's an 86-yard scoop and score. It seals it for the Saints. 26-14 final. Jackson Dart in his second career start played more like a fart. Alliteration. 202 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and two interceptions. Cam Scatabo, 15 carries for 59 yards, under 4 yards a carry, 6 catches for 45 yards, and the aforementioned fumble return for a touchdown. Theo Johnson has his third 3 TDs in the last 2 games for the Giants. 6 catches for 33 yards and 2 scores in this one for him. Spencer Rattler, 23 out of 31 for 225 yards and a touchdown for New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, just 12 touches, 8 for 27 yards on the ground, and 4 catches for 28. Meanwhile, Kendry Miller outperformed him on the ground for the second straight week. 10 carries, for 41 yards. Rashid Shaheed, 4 catches for 114 yards in the aforementioned score. And the floor is Chris Olave. 7 catches for 59 yards for the PPR darling. Next, New Orleans will take on the 3-2 Patriots in what feels like a trap game for the Patriots, to be honest with you folks. And the New York Giants have the pleasure of hosting a pissed-off Philadelphia Eagles team on Thursday Night Football. Good luck to the Giants. We continue in the 1 o'clock window. The Dallas Cowboys, who famously had a tie last week. Talk about being pissed off, and I'm not even a Cowboys fan. They had a tie. Well, they go into the Meadowlands on the road against the Jets, and they really did dominate this game. Final score, Dallas 37, Jets 22. The final score was not anywhere near as close as it would appear here. Jets opened the scoring with a field goal at 7:43 remaining in the first. Dallas would then score 30 unanswered points in just over 15 minutes of gameplay in this one, folks. And Dallas led this one going into the fourth 30-6. Not a close game. Not that 15 points is a close game, but it's a lot closer than 24. The Jets got 2 touchdowns with under 8 minutes to go, with a Dallas touchdown sandwiched in between. Dallas won easily 37-22. The Jets, congratulations, Jets fans. Once again, the Jets are now the only team in the NFL without a win through 5 weeks. Dak Prescott, 18 out of 29 for 237 yards and 4 touchdowns for Dak. Javonte Williams, 16 carries for 135 yards and a touchdown for him, as well as 1 catch and a 4-yard touchdown reception there. Jake Ferguson, 7 catches for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's also becoming a monster in PPR and fantasy. George Pickens, 2 catches for 57 and a score. And Ryan Flournoy, out of nowhere, with CeeDee Lamb out, 6 catches for 114 for him. On the other side, Justin Fields completes 32 out of 46 for 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 26 rushing yards for him. Breece Hall, 14 carries for 113, 4 catches for 42 yards, but does lose a fumble, and that fumble did lead to a Dallas touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 6 catches, 71 yards, and a garbage time touchdown. And Mason Taylor emerging as maybe a guy for the Jets as a safety blanket for Fields, a tight end. 9 catches for 67 yards for him. Next up, the 2-2-1 Dallas Cowboys. 2-2-1. I hate that. They will travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers. That's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. And the Jets will travel to London to take on a team that's much better than they are, the Denver Broncos. That will be a 9:30 a.m. kick here on the East Coast. I look forward to watching Denver whoop up on them on that one. Speaking of Denver, we're getting straight into it, folks. The Denver Broncos are on the road as 3.5-point dogs against the Philadelphia Eagles. Denver at Philly. This game very dull and boring through 3 quarters. The teams traded field goals through a 3-3 first quarter. After forcing a Broncos punt to open the second, Philly drove it 9 plays in 4 minutes and 32 seconds with a big play of 52 yards from Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith, followed immediately by a defensive pass interference call intended for A.J. Brown. That went for another 24 yards. Right after that, a 2-yard touchdown toss to Dallas Goedert, 10-3 Philadelphia. Philly would get its second touchdown right out of the gate in the third quarter, starting at their own 26. Hurts fires an incomplete pass, then a 21-yard connection to Smith, a 6-yard gain to Goedert, and the capper, a beautiful ball, to his credit, to Saquon Barkley down the right hash for a 47-yard score. Philly is up 17-3 with 13:23 left in the quarter. Broncos offense not doing a damn thing so far in this one. Teams traded punts on the next 4 consecutive possessions. Denver took over at their own 36 with 2:38 left to go in the third. Bo Nix goes 4 out of 5 on the drive. The running backs carry it 5 times for 33 yards, and a J.K. Dobbins 2-yard touchdown run pulls Denver to within 7 as it's 17-10 with 13:11 left in regulation. Denver then forces Philly to punt as the Eagles only run off 2 minutes of clock. Next drive is a big boy drive from Bo Nix. He goes 4 out of 4, 77 yards on the drive, completes an 11-yard touchdown pass to Evan Engram, then converts on a 2-point pass to Troy Franklin. Denver now leads Philadelphia 18-17, but still 7:36 left to go in the game. Plenty of time for the defending champs to come back. But once again, the stout Broncos defense, they force a punt, and they get it back with 5:14 to go. Denver then goes on a 10-play drive and forces Philly to burn all 3 timeouts. Will Lutz with a 36-yard field goal. That's good. Denver now has a 21-17 lead with 1:11 to go. But still enough time for the Eagles in theory. Now, Philly is able to move it into Denver territory thanks to an 18-yard defensive pass interference, followed by a 24-yard strike to Jahan Dotson. But from the 29, they were unable to put the ball in the end zone. The next to last play of the game looked like it should have been a defensive pass interference, as it was worse than the one that was called 2 plays earlier. It was not called. Denver upsets Philadelphia in Philadelphia 21-17. Huge win for the Broncos. Needless to say, Bo Nix, 242 yards through the air and a touchdown for him. J.K. Dobbins, 20 carries, 79 yards and a score. Cortland Sutton, 8 catches for 99 yards. Evan Ingram, 4 catches for 39 yards on the aforementioned score. Hurts, 23 out of 38 for 280 and a score. Saquon Barkley only ran the ball 6 times in this game for some reason. He did have 3 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. And Devontae Smith, 8 catches for 114. A.J. Brown, 5 catches for 43. Continues to be underwhelming because he doesn't get the ball thrown to him enough. And Dallas Goedert, 3 catches, 19 yards, in his 3rd straight game with at least 1 touchdown. Next up, Denver will travel to London to take on the 0-5 New York Jets, the 9:30 a.m. kick we just mentioned. And as we've also mentioned already, Philadelphia will be at the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football, and they will not be in a good mood, folks. Throw as much money as you can on Philly in that game. That's really all I have to say about that. We continue. 2 games left in the 1 o'clock window, folks. It's the Detroit Lions at 4-1 at the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, I'm sorry, I already spoiled it. 3-1 Lions at 2-2 Bengals. Jake Browning and the Bengals defense are officially confirmed problems now. Browning has thrown 8 interceptions and is 1 behind Geno Smith for the league lead despite playing a game and a half less than Geno Smith. 2 of his 3 interceptions in this one led to Lions touchdowns. That was viewed that one way as a difference in this game. The Bengals were down 28-3 through 3 quarters. Again, another one where the score wasn't as close as it was. Detroit wins this game 37-24. The Bengals were down 28-3 through 3 quarters. That is bad. 2 touchdown passes of 15 and 64 yards for Jamar Chase, both really because of the receiver, not the quarterback. Pulled Cincinnati to 28-17 with 10:22 to play. Next Lions drive goes 8 plays and kills 5 minutes and 8 seconds of clock. It's a 12-yard touchdown pass to Isaac Tesla. Puts it out of reach at 35-17. Bengals will respond with another score just over 2 minutes later, but way too late. Detroit, again, wins it 37-24. Jared Goff, ultimately efficient in this game. 19 out of 23 for 258 yards and 3 scores. David Midnight in Montgomery, he's always singing there. 18 carries for 65 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. He also had a 3-yard touchdown pass. That was the other running back touchdown pass of the week. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 carries for 54, 2 catches for 33 yards, and a score. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches for 100 yards. Sam Laporta with his best game of the season so far, 5 catches for 92 and a score. On the other side, Jake Browning, 26 out of 40, 251 yards. He did end up throwing those 3 garbage time touchdowns. He also had 3 interceptions before those 3 touchdowns. He finally convinced the Bengals that enough was enough. The Bengals traded a 5th-round pick yesterday. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was today. No, it was yesterday. They traded a 5th-round pick to Cleveland for Joe Flacco and a 6th-round pick. So Joe Flacco, new starter in Cincinnati, probably until Joe Burrow comes back. The Bengals running backs only carried it 12 times for 54 yards. Jamar Chase with a big day, 6 catches for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins, 3 catches for 22 yards. And he had the ultimate cheapie touchdown at the very end with Cincinnati already blown out and all the fans out of the building. Next, Detroit will travel to Kansas City on Sunday Night Football, and Cincinnati will travel to Green Bay in a really tough spot for them, and Flacco will be starting against the Packers. Now, granted, he did beat the Packers for his only win of the season with the Brownies. Green Bay 2-1-1. That in Lambeau, 4:25 for some reason on Sunday. Interesting. Anyway, we move on to the final game of the 1 o'clock window, folks. It's the Rapid-Fire Rundown. It's not Terranadome. Thanks for the support, as always. We keep it rolling. We go through all the action in less than an hour, folks. We got to keep it rolling here. The Miami Dolphins travel just up the road to Kakalaki to take on the Carolina Panthers. And all I got to say after this one, folks, is the clock is definitely ticking on Mike McDaniel's tenure in Miami, especially after he walked back to the locker room after another loss to a bad team. And he walked back by himself to the locker room. 17-13 Dolphins going into the 4th quarter. The first 3 possessions of the quarter are punts. Carolina starts on their own 15 with 10-12 to go. And the story of this game, folks, honestly, was Rico Dowdle. Dowdle in for an injured Chuba Hubbard. On this drive, he ran for 56 yards and a 1-yard touchdown to put Carolina ahead 20-17. Miami fires back immediately after a 40-yard kickoff return that had him close to midfield. Tua Tagovailoa completed 2 short passes to his running backs and then fired a 46-yard dart to Jalen Waddle for a touchdown. Miami back in front 24-20 with 4:42 to go. Carolina's next possession featured the two teams trading 2 kickoff penalties. Carolina got the ball on their own 17-yard line after picking up 2 chunk plays to get to the Miami 38. Running back Trevor Etienne ran it for 5, followed by 2 straight incompletions by Bryce Young. It's 4th and 5, but Young, one of the best moments of his career so far, is able to hit rookie wideout Jimmy Horn, it's a rookie 6th-round pick, for a 17-yard gain to stay alive. Next play, it's a 12-yard run by Etienne, and then Bryce Young finds Mitchell Evans for a 4-yard touchdown score, 27-24, but still with 1:59 left, and Miami has all 3 of their timeouts. But unfortunately for the Dolphins, they can't do anything with it. They punt it away with 1:08 left, and they would never get the ball back. Carolina wins to improve to 2-3, 27-24 as Miami drops to 1-4. Tua Tagovailoa played well in this game for the Dolphins. 27 out of 36 for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns. Miami only ran it for 19 yards in this game. It's hard to win when you're running for 19 yards. Devin Achane had 10 carries for 16 yards. This tells me the Miami offensive line is shit. There's my 2 swears. He did have 6 catches for 30 yards and a score. Jalen Waddle had 6 catches for 110 yards in the first game without Tyreek Hill and a score there as well. And Darren Waller once again found the end zone for his 3rd touchdown in 2 games with the Dolphins, 5 catches for 78 and a score. Other side, Bryce Young, 19 out of 31, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. He also lost a fumble. Both of Young's turnovers led to Miami touchdowns. The story of the game, once again, folks, was Rico Dowdle, 23 carries for 206 yards, and you could have got him on your waiver wire in fantasy. I screwed up. I didn't pick him up either. On Sunday morning, 206 yards and a touchdown. Ted McMillan, 6 catches for 73, and Xavier Legette. Well, I know at least one person out there I know that could be listening to this that absolutely loves Xavier Legette. 2 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. Tracy, what's going on? JD, he'll let you know that I bet I shouted you out. Carolina, they will host Dallas, as we just talked about. Dallas is 2-1, and that'll be at Sunday, 1 o'clock. Meanwhile, Miami will host the LA Chargers, and that game is also Sunday at 1 o'clock. Speaking of the Chargers, they hosted the Washington Commanders, and they did not win, okay? Washington 27, LA Chargers 10. Both teams now 3-2. Chargers got out to a 10-0 lead after the first quarter in this game, and they did absolutely nothing after that. It was Ladd McConkey's first touchdown of the season, and Cameron Dicker, the kicker, had a 55-yard boot. And from there, Washington commanded the game to the tune of 27 dominant unanswered points en route to an easy win. Jaden Daniels in this one, 15 out of 26 for 231 yards and a touchdown. He added 39 yards on the ground. Bill Frosky Merritt finally broke out for you fantasy folks. And yeah, I'm included in one of them. I got him in 2 leagues too. I get it. 14 carries for 111 yards for Bill. 2 touchdowns, 2 catches for 39 yards. He did lose a fumble in the fourth quarter. That was inconsequential. Deebo Samuel revitalized with Jaden Daniels. 8 catches for 96 yards and a score for him. Other side, Justin Herbert goes 22 out of 29 for 166 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He added 60 yards on the ground, running for his life. Omarion Hampton, the breakout rookie sensation running back for the Chargers, gets himself hurt. But before he does, he has 12 carries for 44, 6 catches for 26. Then he leaves the game with an ankle injury. He was placed on IR, is expected back in 4 weeks. Quentin Johnston, 4 catches for 40 yards. He's been having a breakout season, but he lost a fumble in this one. And both Chargers fumbles led to touchdowns in this game. I don't think I noted the fact that Herbert had a lost fumble as well, but both Chargers turnovers led to touchdowns in this game. Keenan Allen, 5 catches for 58 yards. Ladd McConkey, 5 catches for 39 yards, and his first touchdown of the season, as we mentioned. Washington, coming off the win, will host the Chicago Bears, who are 2-2 coming off their bye. That is the second game on Monday Night Football next week, or this week, whatever, next week. And the Chargers will travel to face the 1-4 Dolphins. Good effing luck to the Dolphins. That game, Sunday at 1 o'clock. We move into the 4 o'clock window, folks, and this one ain't pretty. This one ain't pretty, but it does give me a good chance to take a dump all over the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray, even though this one might not have been Kyler Murray's fault. But boy, are the Cardinals an absolute joke of a franchise. But here's the scenario. Cardinals are in control of this game. It's 21-6 heading into the fourth quarter. On their own 28-yard line on a 3rd and 1, it's a handoff up the middle to Emery Demercado, and he is gone. Except for one guy on the Titans defense, but he blows by everybody else. It's a 72-yard touchdown run, but wait a second. One Titans defender keeps up with him, happens to hit him on the hand as he's crossing the goal line, and the ball pops out. It's reviewed on replay. It's overturned. It was originally ruled a touchdown. For the second straight week in a row, some dumbass does this dumbass play and doesn't hold on to the ball as he's going into the end zone. 2 weeks in a row this has happened. It goes as a touchback for Tennessee. At that point in the game, because I had Red Zone on and then I had something else. I had another game on, solo. Yeah, 2 TV setup. I know I have my own podcast. It's like I'm committed or something. At that point in the game, I knew Arizona was going to blow it. 21-6 in the fourth quarter. I knew they were going to blow it. And after that play, by the way, Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon absolutely ripped Demercado a new a-hole on the sideline for the mistake, as any head coach should do. And what do the Cardinals do? They fine the head coach $100,000 for disciplining the kid. How are you supposed to learn? What an absolute microcosm of how weak of a society we've become. That's a grown-ass man. And you can't reprimand him for doing something incredibly idiotic? $100,000? Coaches would quit over that. They'd resign immediately over crap like that. That is an absolute effing joke. That's a joke. What an embarrassment. If the Cardinals had any fans, I'm sure they'd be embarrassed by that. Wow. Anyway, next Tennessee drive. Cam Ward goes 3 out of 6 for 79 yards. It's a 1-yard Tony Pollard touchdown run, and it's 21-12 as the extra point is no good. Naturally, Arizona goes 3 and out on its next drive, and then an even dumber, stupid, idiot play, maybe of the entire year, even dumber than the one I just described to you, happens at the end of the next Titans drive. Down to the Arizona 20 with just under 5 minutes to play, Cam Ward throws one up for Calvin Ridley. It's a little overthrown. Ridley tips it. It's thrown up in the air and picked off by Arizona at the 5-yard line. But then the intercepting player fumbles it. It's kicked around. It's loose. It's recovered by Tennessee in the end zone. And it's good. It's a touchdown for the Titans. Extra point is good. 21-19. 4:39 to go. Yeah, the Titans are definitely getting off the schneid in this one, folks. They force the Cardinals to punt again at the 2-minute warning. They start their next drive at their own 18. Cam Ward balls again. Goes 4 out of 6 for 67 yards. And then Tony Pollard has an 11-yard run. And Arizona calls timeout with 19 seconds left. Cam Ward downs it 3 times to get them to waste their last 2 timeouts. Joey Sly with a 26-yard chip shot is good. Tennessee somehow pulls it out of their ass by nothing short of a miracle. They win it 22-21. Ward goes 21 out of 39 for 265 and an interception. Tony Pollard goes 14 carries, 67 yards, a touchdown, and a lost fumble. Calvin Ridley, his best game in 2 years, or maybe, at least in 2 years. 5 catches for 131 yards for him. On the other side, Kyler Murray with a typical Kyler Murray line. 23 out of 31 for 220 yards, no touchdowns and no interceptions. As dull and crap as it gets. 25 rushing yards, scored a rushing touchdown, also lost a fumble. Michael Carter, not Emery Demercado, fills in for Trey Benson, who was filling in for James Conner. Carter with a hapless 18 carries for 51 yards and a score. Marvin Harrison Jr. with a nice game, 4 catches for 98. And Trey McBride, 5 catches for 41 yards. Next, The now 1-4 Titans will travel to the 1-4 Vegas Raiders at 4:05 on Sunday. And Arizona, in a really bad spot, will travel to Indianapolis to take on the 4-1 Colts. At 1 o'clock on Sunday, we continue to fly through, folks. In fact, we have flown through this admirably. It's the Terranadome. My name is Scott Terrana. Thank you for all the support. Please continue. I appreciate all of you very much. I can't state that enough, especially in trying times, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. Probably not everybody knows what's going on, but a lot of you do, and I appreciate you. Love you very much. Thank you. We have 2 more to go on the NFL front, folks. We have flown through it today. Tampa Bay Bucks at Seattle Seahawks. Had a feeling this was going to be a good one, folks. Tampa Bay was a 3.5-point dog in this game. I didn't like that, so I bet Tampa plus 3.5. That was a good move. Tampa Bay goes into Seattle and wins a barn burner classic, 38-35, folks. Baker Mayfield has officially arrived as an elite. I mean, I always thought he was good. He is an elite quarterback in the league right now. But both quarterbacks played great in this game. Seattle scored touchdowns on 5 consecutive possessions between the late second and mid-fourth quarters of this one, folks. And Tampa scored touchdowns on 4 out of 5 possessions with a punt mixed in during the same time frame. And after the Bucks tied it, 35-35 with 1:08 to go, Sam Darnold, formerly known as Big D Sam Darnold, baby. Well, Darnold would make his only mistake of the game, and it cost the Seahawks the game. A short pass intended for Cooper Kupp was batted in the air by a defensive lineman, intercepted by linebacker Levante David. Tampa Bay would take over at the Seattle 35. 3 straight runs, netted them 15 yards, and burned all Seattle's timeouts. The third down run of 12 yards iced it for Tampa. Baker downs it. 3 seconds left. Chase McLaughlin is good from 39 yards, and the Bucks escape a classic 38-35. Listen to the box score on this one. Baker Mayfield, 29 out of 33, 379 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rashad White had 14 carries in place of the injured Bucky Irving, 41 yards and 2 scores for him. And Emeka Egbuka continues to ball the F out as a rookie out of Ohio State. 7 catches, 163 yards, and I believe another 70-plus yard touchdown reception in this one. Big D, Sam Darnold was almost as good. 28 out of 34, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns for Darnold, and an interception. Kenny Walker on the ground, 10 carries for 86. Zach Charbonnet, 9 carries for 36 and a touchdown. Jackson Smith-Njigba, again, I will keep reminding you, is one of the best receivers in football because he plays in Seattle. Nobody wants to talk about him. Top 5 receiver in the league right now. 8 catches for 132 yards and a score for him. Cooper Kupp, 6 catches for 59. A.J. Barner, the emerging tight end for the Seahawks, 7 catches for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tampa Bay will host San Francisco in a battle of 4-1 teams. That'll be a 4:25 kick on Sunday. I am looking forward to that one for sure. And the Seattle Seahawks will travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have only got one game left to talk about this week, folks, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are involved. It's Monday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs at 2-2, traveling to Jacksonville to take on the 3-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. Impressive start for them. A back-and-forth affair for sure, folks. The Chiefs took a 14-point lead almost up until halftime, and then Jacksonville would score 21 unanswered points. The final of those 3 touchdowns was a 99-yard pick 6 tossed by Patrick Mahomes. Boy, you just hate to see it, don't you? You just hate to see when bad things happen to the Chiefs. Isn't that terrible? After punting following the pick 6, the Chiefs would get it back 2 plays later on a Trevor Lawrence interception of his own on his own 19-yard line. And 2 plays after that, it's a 5-yard Kareem Hunt touchdown. Tie game, 12:20 to go. It's a, 21-21 game. Next drive, Jaguars only move at 25 yards, but they do manage to kill 4 minutes of clock. It's a 52-yard Cam Little field goal, and they lead it again, 24-21, 8:13 to go. Next Chiefs drive goes 12 plays and 86 yards, ending in another Kareem Hunt touchdown. And Kansas City now leads 28-24 with only 1:45 to go. But their bonehead kicker, Their idiot kicker who was liquored up. That's an old Peyton Manning thing. A lot of you are going to get that joke. Bonehead Butker kicks the ball out of bounds, so Jacksonville starts it at their own 40-yard line. And Trevor Lawrence really, really, really made it interesting. Quite the spectacle on this last drive, folks. Let's do it in succession. Lawrence made it interesting by getting sacked, scrambling, hitting big completions of 33 and 13 yards, then has a delay of game, and then throws an interception into the end zone on what should have sealed it. But wait, the Chiefs have a defensive pass interference. What? A call went against the Chiefs? No way! Because last season, as you recall, no calls went against the Chiefs. At least not until the Super Bowl. Anyway, Lawrence gets another chance from the 1-yard line. It's 30 seconds to go. He's under center. He takes the snap and he falls to the ground. Oh no. But somehow he's not touched. He gets back up and runs it in. Jags get the go-ahead touchdown, 31-28, 23 seconds to go. And despite having all three timeouts, the Chiefs can do nothing with it on their ensuing possession. The Jags win a wild one, 31-28. Not a super impressive line for Lawrence, but a win is a win is a win, folks. Trevor Lawrence, 18 out of 25 for 225 yards, a touchdown and an interception. 10 carries for 54 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. He also lost a fumble. Both of Lawrence's turnovers did lead to Chiefs touchdowns in this one. Travis Etienne, 12 carries for 49 yards. Brian Thomas, 4 catches for 80 yards. And Travis Hunter had 3 catches for 64 yards. But I think for the first time this season, he also played more snaps on offense than he did on defense. His longest catch of the night was a very impressive one over 2 defenders. He bailed out Lawrence on that one. Flip side, Patrick Mahomes goes 29 out of 41 for 318 yards, a touchdown, an interception. He also led the team in rushing with 60 yards and had a touchdown on the ground as well. Kareem Hunt, 7 carries for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. Xavier Worthy, 6 catches for 42 for the Chiefs. Tyquan Thornton, 3 catches for 90. And Travis Kelce, 7 catches for 61 yards and a score in the loss. Next up for the Jaguars, as we just mentioned, they will host the Seahawks at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Seahawks are 3-2, Jags 4-1. And Kansas City's road is not getting any easier. They're 2-3, folks. They are hosting the wagon Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football in Week 6. Folks, that is how you do a rapid-fire rundown. That is the rapid-fire rundown for Week 5. That's how you get it done. I just have one more thing I want to talk about. Behind me, over my right shoulder there, you will see, I know it looks like my left shoulder on the camera, but it's my right shoulder. It's a big, giant Boston Red Sox banner back there. That's back there for a reason. It's a lifelong affliction to be a Red Sox fan. And sure, times have been much better for myself than most of the previous generations, right? But this team still finds a way to piss you off, especially over the last 5 years, for the most part. They find a way to let you down. It was a good season this year. Now, obviously, we're going back like a week now. The Red Sox got eliminated by the Yankees 2-1 in the best out of 3 wildcard series in the Bronx. Mostly thanks in part to a screw up in Game 2, which we talked about with Josh Morris on the show last week. But in Game 3, simply put, they got dominated by a kid that went out there on a mission to shut you down, and he did it. Cam Schlittler grew up in the suburbs of Boston, was not taken by his hometown Red Sox, ends up being taken by the Yankees. And in Game 3 of this series, the kid absolutely shut you down to the tune of 8 innings pitched, no runs, no walks, and 12 strikeouts. It doesn't matter who you threw out there in that lineup that night. You were not going to beat that kid. I would just like to say, for what the Red Sox had on the field, and this is all off the cuff, by the way, folks. I do a lot of preparation for this show, especially when it comes to football. This is all off the cuff. For what they put on the field, right? For what this roster was, this was pretty much a successful season. It pretty much was. I think it was a slam dunk success if they could have found a way to get past the Yankees, not the Yankees out when you consider that you traded away your best bat, you had injuries to Tristan Cassis, and really the most important one ended up being the 21-year-old Roman Anthony. What a stud that kid is going to be. But considering that this team, and this is glass half full, it is, but I'm going to give you both sides because this is what we do here. There's no sugarcoating on this show. I mean, I sipped the Kool-Aid in the middle of July. I did because they were riding that momentum, but it was not sustainable. But here's the bottom line. This team should have done more at the deadline to address the needs that they had. You needed a right-handed bat. You needed someone that could play first base that could also hit, a right-handed bat. You didn't address that. You also knew that your top three starters were all going to hit their most innings pitched. And I'm talking about Garrett Crochet, who was nails. As you know, Crochet never broke down despite blowing past his most innings pitched by like 50 to 55, 60 innings. That guy was balls in game one. That's the only reason you even had a shot to win that series. So Crochet wasn't the problem. But Brian Bayo still pitched the most innings of his career, and he didn't have it in game two, and that was part of the problem too. But can you fault him? Because they don't condition these kids to throw 200 innings anymore. They condition them to throw 160. Well, Bayo was past 185 or something like that. And then you have Lucas Giolito, who was one of your guys that you signed knowing they signed him in 2023. Late 2023, whatever. 2024 offseason, whatever. Knowing that Giolito was not going to pitch in 2024. He hadn't had a full workload of innings in 3 years. So by the time you get to October, this kid's, he's 31 years old, but there's a good chance he's not going to be effective if he's even on the mound, and he wasn't. He had that elbow tendonitis. They didn't even get to use him. So now in a deciding game, you're going to a rookie. And I get that the Yankees did the same thing, but Schlittler had been in the rotation for half the year. Connolly early, give him credit because he shut him down the first three and so on, some odd innings. That kid had only made 4 starts. So my point being, you needed to add a starting pitcher at the deadline. And when you look at the fact that all it would have taken you is Jarren Duran and a couple prospects to get Joe Ryan, who's a borderline ace in this league, 29 years old, you could have got that guy. If you have Garrett Crochet and Joe Ryan 1-2 in a playoff series, you like your odds a lot better. But you didn't do that. You said, no, even though we have a logjam of outfielders, we're going to hold on to Jarren Duran. Well, listen, I'm not one of these people that wants to boot Duran out of here because he said a bad word. Okay? That's not it. That's not being objective. That's being emotional. And you got to stop thinking with your friggin' emotions. This is purely objective. Duran is a poor defensive outfielder. Okay? Yes, he's a good hitter. When he gets on the base paths, he's lethal. That is a fact. But the difference, but what he did in this series, and really what he did on the season, is he didn't have nearly the season that he had last year. It's negligible. He made so many mistakes in this 3-game series defensively, whether it was lack of hustle, not being able to catch a ball that was hit right at him. You should have traded him. You should have traded him because it's pretty clear to me that you don't view him as a part of your long-term plans. Because if you had, why wouldn't you have locked him up like you did Roman Anthony, Cedar Rafaela, Brian Bayo? Why didn't you do that? Because he's not part of your long-term plans. Why the F didn't you trade him? You needed one more bat minimum at the deadline. You needed another starter. You did neither. So considering those things, the Red Sox had a good year. They really did. Alex Cora did a good job with this team this year. And here's another thing too. He did. I think Cora screwed up in game 2 when he took Bayo out so early after 28 pitches. They don't have a bullpen that can go 7 innings in a game. They just don't have it. They just don't. Okay? That's another personnel issue. When it came down to it, they really only had 3 good relievers this year. Okay? I think Justin Wilson was good, but he's your only guy in the middle, right? Whitlock was good, at least until game 2 of the series. And Aroldis Chapman was incredible. Glad they're bringing him back. Never thought I would be saying that like 8 months ago. Glad they're bringing him back. But this was a successful season for the Boston Red Sox. What I'm worried about is that they're not going to spend money. They're going to say we're relying on our development system because they do have a lot of prospect pitchers coming. And oh, by the way, if Giolito's elbow checks out, they should sign him back. They should. Good number 3 starter. Really good number 3 starter. But I'm afraid they're not going to add, right? I'm afraid that Alex Bregman's going to walk, even though, to be honest with you, he shouldn't, right? That's the only other thing I want to bring up here. Alex Bregman would be a fool to walk away when he is going to get paid $40 million this season coming up in, March. Because, yeah, his first 60 games, he was unbelievable. He was. Then the quad injury happened, and he was never close to the same. Fine defensively, didn't hit worth a lick after he came back from that injury. If he can't be stupid enough, and maybe he listens to his agent, but he can't be dumb enough to think he's going to even come close to $40 million a year average annual value and also get a 5-year deal. That's not going to happen for a 31-year-old Alex Bregman or 32-year-old Alex Bregman. That's not going to happen. So I am afraid that he walks, but I don't think he will. I think he's bluffing when he says it was an honor to put on this uniform. This team needs him. He knows his best chance is going to be to come in here next season, stay healthy, have a good season, and then this team signs you to that 5-year deal that takes you to the end of your career. But all in all, good season for the Boston Red Sox. Honestly. But with that being said, kind of have to expect more next season, don't you? And that's the show, folks. Oh, by the way, the NHL returned yesterday. 2-time defending champion Florida Panthers with Brad Marchand played yesterday. The Boston Bruins play a hockey game tonight, folks, and I don't see myself spending a ton of time on them, at least not during football season. But the Boston Bruins play a hockey game tonight. Opening night. They also play tomorrow night at home. So I think they're going to be better than they were last year. I think Jeremy Swayman's going to be better than he was last year. I think full offseason, full training camp, he'll be okay. I don't know how well they're going to be coached, but apparently there's optimism with Marco Sturm. And supposedly the young players on this roster are going to be better than this team was a year ago. So we'll see, folks. My name is Scott Terrana. It's the Terranadome. Tell somebody you love them today because tomorrow is not promised, folks. I promise you that is true. Tell the ones that mean the most to you that you love them today. Okay? Thank you all for the likes, support, subscriptions, comments, the views. I know a lot. I find out every week somebody I would never expect to watch this thing watches it. So thank you again very much. We will be back next Wednesday. And it'll be Josh Morris back on the show. Folks, I am looking forward to that. It's the Terranadome. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube, hit that like button. And subscribe on Spotify as well. We're on there as well, folks. So thank you very much for your time. As always, a nice, clean, quick show this week. And I will be back next week. Be good to one another. Be good to yourself. Peace.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.